And by the way, do you know what to do when you only have one square to spare? Welcome back to the Midlife Ride. My name is Chris. Catherine is behind the wheel today, which means we are in a survival situation.
Honey.
Just kidding, honey. We are on a road trip to Florida to see our granddaughter, and that means it is time for our second survival prep video, making a vehicle survival kit. Let's go. Well, we are finally at our destination in Florida, and honestly, our intention was to record this on the way down, but the weather was so awful that we couldn't stop along the way and record. So here we are in Florida. Now, if you missed our DIY survival kit video, we will link that right up here or down in the description below. It might be worth a watch because what we have done is added more stuff to it to make it more of a complete survival kit rather than just a personal survival kit. So let's take a look at those items first. And again, I am not a survival expert. I am very much a beginner, and I owe a lot of what I've learned to channels like Dave Canterbury, Corporal's Corner, the Gray Bearded Green Beret have been my go-tos for survival expertise, so be sure to check them out. And I'll also add links for all this stuff in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself and maybe add it to your own survival kit. Now, first up, I have invested in more cordage, specifically 550 paracord, and I have 8 hanks of approximately 8 feet each. And then I have also made a 30-foot rapid ridge line, complete with prusik loops made from number 36 bank cord so that we can quickly get up a shelter if we need to. And this is going in our pot, which again, you can check in our personal survival kit video. Now, closely related to that cordage is this approximately 5 by 7 foot emergency tarp. It is orange on one side, reflective on the other, so that we can use it for a blanket, but also set up a quickie shelter with our ridge line if we need to. And I've also added these sturdy tent spikes so that again, we can get a shelter up really fast. And then we also have this collapsible cook stove if we need to make a quick little fire. It's just big enough for our stainless steel pot. And, you know, if we don't have a lot of wood fuel around, this is enough to get some water boiling or cook a little bit of food if we need to. And speaking of firewood, we went out and invested in a folding saw. And this is the Silky Gomboy Outback Edition, which will allow us to cut some larger pieces of firewood to keep a fire going. And it seems cheap, and that's because it is. I also threw a small candle into our pot. Now, we had a couple of candlesticks laying around the house. I literally snapped off the end of it, and now we have another fire starting device in our survival kit. Now, we already had a small LED flashlight in our pot, but I went ahead and added this headlamp into the pot too. I've had this thing forever. I use it to cook barbecue when it's really dark outside, but that's going in the kit too. And then with the help of my dad, we made a small fishing kit. He's the best fisherman I know, so I consulted an expert. And then as far as things laying around the house, we had this old needle and thread kit, so we're throwing that in there too. We got a roll of orange surveyor's tape to mark our way if we get lost out in the woods. And then we also added about 6 feet of orange duct tape. Now, we didn't buy this. We got a regular roll of duct tape. I took a leftover toilet paper roll, cut it up into this small little section, and we just rolled up our own roll of duct tape, and that'll do the trick. And duct tape always comes in handy no matter the situation. And if worst comes to worst, Catherine can use it to tape my mouth shut. And we also added a pencil and paper to our survival kit. Now, another thing we have added to the complete kit are these water purification tablets and also this water purifying straw system. And I'm putting all of these in this large Ziploc bag keep them dry. Plus that Ziploc bag might come in handy. You know, and one more thing, since I've been at home and playing with my belt knife now, you know, I've been making these wood ribbons, just carving up some pieces of wood, but I have saved all the ribbons in this Ziploc bag. That'll be some nice fire starting tinder. So all of that stuff, including the stuff in our personal survival kit, which is in the stainless steel pot, is going into our vehicle survival kit, which is the stuff I'm going to show you next. This is something we should have done a long time ago. And you might ask yourself, why do you need a vehicle survival kit? Well, like the examples we showed you in our other survival kit video, we've had some close calls before. We had a deer hit us on this back road in Indiana, and that was in the middle of the night. That could have gone badly. We did hit a deer on the way back to the hotel, so that's going to be fun to fix. I'll show you that in the morning. Wasn't that fun, honey?
So fun.
We're both okay. The car, not so much. Got a little bit of glass on me, but nothing we couldn't brush off. We've blown a tire and then the spare on the interstate before, and we've had some other close calls, so it's nice to have this stuff on hand. That's why we're making it. And the other thing is, our vehicle, our primary vehicle, it's old. Honestly, it's a beater, but she's ours. She just keeps going, and like they say, ride her till she bucks you, or don't ride her at all. Also, it's best to look at this stuff as insurance. You hope you never have to use it, but also with these things, it's nice to know how to use them in case of a survival situation. So that's one of the things I've dedicated myself to, is learning how to use all this stuff. First of all, let's talk about the stuff that should already be in your vehicle, like a spare tire that is in good shape and inflated, like tire tools. And trust me, you need to make sure that stuff is in there and in good shape. If you're not sure if you have that stuff in your vehicle, or you're not sure if it's in good shape or not, take this time right now, pause the video, and go check it out to verify it. I don't even care if you come back to watch the video. I would rather you know that your spare tire and tire tools are in good shape. Now, two other things we always keep in the car are a set of jumper cables and a tire pump. For our latest editions, they include these LED flares. Now, I really wish we had had these when we had that tire blowout, but these are battery powered. You will find these baton style, but also these puck style flares. I decided to go with these baton style because I figure any amount of visibility you can get above the ground, you're better off. All right, well, now we're out here in the dark and we're going to test out these flares. Now, this set actually comes with 4. I only have 2 set up, but let's see what these things can do. So there is a blinking setting, which is nice. I'm impressed. That would get my attention. Now, I will show you though, if you press the power button again, it'll give you just a steady glow. And also, there's one more setting, and that is a flashlight. Not the brightest flashlight, but it'll do. And something else I like about these flares, they're magnetic. So you can also stick them to your car if you need to. I think that's a nice option to have. Plus with the flashlight setting, you know, you never know when you might need to stick it to the side of the car to help change a tire at night. Now, another thing we added to our vehicle survival kit was a dedicated flashlight. And we have this hybrid light, mammoth light, which is like a panel light. It also has a little flashlight. You can charge it by plugging it into the wall, but it's also solar charged, which is nice. You can also charge a cell phone with it. It has these magnets on the end, and it also has a hook on the end so you can hang it from the hood. I think this thing is a really nice flashlight. And because we typically travel in unpredictable weather, we're going to start packing these tire chains and also this collapsible snow shovel. And also because I wanted some extra tools in the car in case we encounter trouble, I just raided our home toolbox because we have a lot of duplicates of tools, and added this socket set with a bunch of screwdrivers, also these wrenches, some pliers, wire cutters, a hammer. And yeah, I know the hammer is a claw hammer. It's not a mallet or a ball peen, but the way I look at it, a hammer is better than no hammer. So that's what we have. And then also a couple extra bungee cords. Even though we always travel with extra water and food, we're going to throw some extra of that in our survival kit. We have a couple extra bottles of water, some extra food in there because we tend to get hangry from time to time, some of us more than others. And depending on the time of the year, we'll also throw an extra blanket in there to keep us warm in case we break down, and also appropriate clothing. There's nothing worse than coming from a climate like this, going home to below freezing temperatures and being stuck with no warm clothing. So we will always travel with weather appropriate clothing and blankets. And last but not least, we have a roll of toilet paper in a Ziploc bag to keep it dry, because you never know when Mother Nature might call. And by the way, do you know what to do when you only have one square to spare? If you know, leave a comment down below. So it looks like a lot of stuff, right? But actually it condenses down quite nicely. We had this old tub at home that we were not using. It all fits into that tub. So that's what we're gonna keep it in. We will also take it inside with us when we get to our destination. Do not leave your survival kit in plain sight, because trust us, you're just inviting people to break into your car and steal it. And that's it. So tell us in the comments below, do you have a vehicle survival kit? And if so, is there something in your kit that we should add to ours? Let us know in the comments below, because we would love to hear about it. And be sure to stay tuned, because there is more survival stuff on the way. We have shelter building and fire starting, among other things. I've become obsessed, in a good way, I think. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that little notification bell so that you know every time we release a new video. And we will see you on the next episode of The Midlife Ride.
We hit a deer. Our luck has to turn around at some point, and I think this is going to be it.